Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. My name is Jake Kipper Matthews, and I'm joined by Dan Orcs Harrison as we kick it off for day 2 of week 1 of the UKLC.
Yeah, glad to be back. We had some great games yesterday. Some close ones, some one-sided ones, but we are back again in the semi-finals.
I mean, it's what a day 1 we had, actually. It was in really good games. I mean, we started the day off with Envision versus Demise, and Demise absolutely stomped Envision. It was such a good game to watch.
Yeah, and I think it shows that these roster changes have made and the development since the 4G Champions promo qualifications, they've really stepped it up, and Envision, they need to start making the moves if they want to catch up to that level, because right now, Demise left them in the dust.
Well, speaking of stepping up, we did have our unsung hero as voted for you guys over on Twitter at the end of yesterday's show, and it was nonetheless from XL's Hjarnan from the AD carry role. I mean, this guy, he put some impressive numbers up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he had such a clean game, didn't die once. He had a massive amount of damage contribution as well as huge CS. And actually, this was him going mid lane on the Corki, and he let Special go bot in the Yasuo, just showing the flexibility that the team had to offer, and I think it's very deserved.
Yeah, it looked very good. But also, we had a bunch of other games yesterday, but were quite fun to watch as well. So
but a good handful.
I mean, what was like the game for you yesterday? I'm curious what you think the game to watch yesterday was.
I think Feel and Diabolus was so close, so back and forth. I think that was the one to watch for me. And there it is.
There it is. This, there's Chimera's just micro steps, kind of dodging some key abilities so you can keep that the ulti going the whole time. It's just so good for him.
Yeah, this sidestep on the Q coming out from Fury's Yasuo was huge, but it wasn't enough to win them the game. Despite plays like this, where we saw Phelan be favorable in the last one, we see them managing to get the kill here on Kakan. It still was not enough. Diabolus showed that they are a force to be reckoned with once again, even with their new roster.
Well, the other really quite fun game to watch was this Mirage versus XL game. You know, like you said, Special went bot lane on the Yasuo, and they sent Hjarnan into the mid on the Corki, giving something he felt more comfortable on. And it wasn't quite as one-sided as we expected. Now, it was one-sided, but there were moments where there were some really big fights for them.
Yeah, absolutely. There were moments where they brought it back. There was like great team fight that had bot side. And this is another one where they actually managed to bring it back after the initial engage. It was a great knock-up and charm coming out from Fastleg. And although he gets blown up on the back end, it facilitates his team to get back in the game. And it shows that Barrage, although they lost out to XL, it's not because they're a weak team. It's just XL were really on form yesterday.
And I think also Zergoff was on form for Barrage. This guy on the Gnar looked very good. He had those kind of key engages for the team.
Other than the dive. Other than that one dive. Other than that, they were doing pretty good.
I'll give you that.
On this flank coming out from Kakan again, having a look at Diabolus' victory. This was the big thing, is that we said they needed to have flanks to make it work against the composition Phelan brought, and they found them again and again. Bit of mistakes on the side of Phelan for not clearing out those wards, but it's a hard job to do, and I have to give credit, they did perform pretty well.
I mean, my game to watch actually was the Envision versus Demise game. Now, if you actually want to watch that game, you can head over to the YouTube channel LVP UKLol and watch all of our previous games from yesterday and our previous split. Honestly, watch that Envision versus Demise. It was the fastest game of the split as well, so it's not even a long watch.
Yeah, it's good if you don't have much time. If you want a quick one to get in, you know, maybe you just have to burn some time. You got a couple of minutes. You're waiting for your queue time for teamfight tactics. There's your opportunity to fit it in.
Well, you can also head over to the Twitter LVP UKLol to get in touch with us using that hashtag UKLC. We want to get you guys involved in the stream. We've had a few tweets pop up yesterday, but I want more. I want more interaction because we want to bring your wonderful faces up on the stream and get involved in the conversation.
Yeah, I want to hear your opinion. Which players you think were the biggest? Who do you think has been popping off, and who do you expect to win throughout the day? We did have some predictions yesterday, and unfortunately, I'm actually behind Twitter on those. So
yeah, you're losing.
Oh, it's not a good time.
I really want to see what you guys think were like the top plays from last week. Sorry, from this week. So tweet at us using that hashtag and let me know what your favorite play from the last 2 days will have been, because I've got to compile a bunch of these anyway, so you can just help me do my job. I want to see what our 5 plays.
So you get Twitter to do your job for you. Well, they're doing my job as an analyst in the predictions.
Yeah, so
they might as well do yours as well. Why not?
Well, let's have a little look at the bracket for anyone who missed yesterday, is maybe a little bit new to the UKLC coming out from last split. We've changed a few bits. As you can see, we've had the round of 8. Now we're starting out with the semi-finals. So we're going to have Demise versus Diabolus to start the day off. Then M&M versus XL. After that, it'll be our final between our 2 winners from those first 2 games. And then the winner of that will go into the Tower Challenge to take on the current rulers of the Tower, Fnatic Rising.
Current rulers of the sea, and they've won the 4G Champions. They won the Spring UKLC. They're on top, but I know every single team in this competition wants to challenge them and knock them off that peg.
And after the Tower Challenge is done, actually, you can stick around and watch us for the draw show to be finding out who's been playing who in next week's bracket. So We've not just got the League of Legends stuff coming up, so let's have a little look at our schedule today to see what times all your teams will be playing. We're starting off the day, like I said, with Demise versus Diabolus. Then an hour later, it'll be Eminem versus XL. Then To Be Decided versus To Be Decided. Then Fnatic Rising taking on the winner of our finals.
Yes, a lot of games going ahead, and there will be big matchups. You will get your chance to see Fnatic Rising playing once again. We haven't had a chance to see them since they had their EU Masters performance, and then after that we had a little bit of 4G Champions, but it was just one series. They will be playing again today, and you know, after seeing how these teams played yesterday, I think they may have a fight on their hands.
Well, let's switch gear and take a look at our first game of the day. It is going to be Demise coming in fresh from the 4G Champions versus our second seed coming out of the spring split, Diabolus. This is the Reaper versus the Devil. I'm really excited to get going into this game because honestly, Demise looked like a really scary team. And this is definitely a more weaker version of Diabolus. They looked good yesterday, but there were definitely kind of weaknesses shown. And Demise didn't show any. They just completely stomped through. The question is, now can they put that kind of performance on versus a team like Diabolus, who are arguably one of the better teams?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one of the things with Diabolus is that a lot of their strength from their rosters comes from development, and I think it is the start of the split. They have a brand new roster. They have to make them work together. And actually, the Demise roster has been together longer because they played in 4G Champions and qualified. And although they've had a few switch-ups, they still have some very strong members. And that's the thing I have to, compliment them on from yesterday, is that they had such a strong team-wide performance.
Well, you can see your roster here for Demise. Zyko in the top lane, hidden in the jungle, Vixen mid, then Voxnate ADC, and Vigo as the support.
And we will get a look at our other team, which is Diabolus.
All right, well, it's in the top lane. Kakan, PFI in the jungle, Fury mid, Dragdar ADC, and the Heathen as support.
Yeah, so it was a late substitution yesterday to bring Dragdar in instead of Koki, but he performed pretty well in that game, and it was enough to get them their victory to go up against Demise today. And that's going to be a pretty hype matchup for me. Dragdar, because he had a solid performance yesterday, and then up against Voxnate, who has been this, I'd say, the MVP of the promotion relegation tournament.
Yeah.
It'll be an exciting matchup, but that was a big thing for me with Demise, is that it wasn't just individual players popping off. It felt like their team-wide playing coordination was really solid, especially for such a new team who hasn't got the most experience in competitive compared to the likes of, Fnatic Rising or XL.
I want to know what your lane to watch is coming into this, because I think we've got some pretty exciting matchups across the board. I want to see where you think is the most exciting lane.
I feel like it's going to depend on picks. I feel like mid could be a very big one because we've seen that Vixen likes to play these aggressive assassins like LeBlanc, like Dikali. But up against Fury, who picked that Yasuo, that could be a very close head-to-head. But then also top lane, Khan was fine in solo kills throughout the game, but as was Zyko and his Yasuo, one of his pocket picks. I feel like their solo lanes are going to be explosive, and I feel like I've kind of just bowed out the answer because I'm saying every lane, but bot lane as well, Dragdog against Voxnate. There's a lot of hype throughout. It's going to come down to how well it can be influenced, I guess, by the junglers.
I kind of think Yasuo is going to be banned. Honestly, after all the performance, we had some really good performances on Yasuo yesterday. Both of these teams as well. I just think Yasuo is not going to be shown.
You would expect it. Yasuo, Aurelia, I think both of those picks are going to be off the table, but it all comes down to who's on which side, and I believe it is Demise on the blue side.
Blue.
So they will be the ones wanted to pick those up, and I feel like Diabolus will either have the option of denying them, or you could put yourself in a position where if you leave them all open, they can only take one in that first pick. Sure, you can have Yasuo, we'll take Aurelia and something else as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just want to get into picks bans. I'm not going to lie. I just want to get going because I want to see what's going to get picked up here, because I think it's going to be very IP, and I think it's going to be very solo lane focused personally. Yeah. I think while Voxnate is kind of like a star AD carry and Dragdar as well, they are good players for their own right, but I feel like the attention of the picks and bans and the attention of especially this early phase of the picks and bans is going to be focused towards top, and it's going to be focused towards mid.
Yeah, so if you look at yesterday, it was Voxnate on his Kai'Sa, and he didn't get a ton of attention in his lane. He was just sort of left to scale up, and then on this side, it was Dragdar on his Sivir, which gave him the opportunity just to get more and more farm, and there was a late game where he really came online. And actually, we do have hidden in the jungle Demise, which is a switch from yesterday where they had Batu.
Yeah.
I believe he has gone away on holiday, so they will be using that alternative jungler.
I believe he's gone to Korea, actually, to go boot camp. So we see the Sejuani, the Gragas, and the Aurelia get banned away. That's a new once again. We did see that get banned pretty much consistently in 4G Champions from Demise. Not something you want to see them get their hands on.
Yeah, another big thing that was banned against Demise was the Caitlyn, so it'll be interesting to see if Diabolus do choose to ban that one away from Voxnate, or they leave it open, because Caitlyn Morgana was a lane they were very keen on playing throughout the promotion relegation tournament, so they could either ban that away with that third one or leave it open, and it will get taken off the card, so not giving that over to Demise. Does mean a lot of those powerful supports are available. The Lulu or the Yumi, or potentially a Sona plus X lane. All possibilities now if Demise want them, or will they prioritize their solo lanes? Aatrox, still available.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're actually going to put the attention onto the Nautilus. A little bit flexible because you can kind of send it into multiple lanes, but most people nowadays, especially now they've got Nautilus hype, is started to simmer down a little bit. Most people have just found a home for him in that bot lane as a support.
And this was actually picked by both teams yesterday and played in the support role. So yes, Demise have picked it up for Vigo, had a great performance on it. This is also a denial away from Heathen. And then we see that at least picked up, which is something I know from having talked to him. PFI has been playing that champion a lot. Very strong in the current meta. And then once again, seeing the Sivir for Dragdar. He's going to be pretty strong in the later stages.
I mean, I feel like they're kind of proving me wrong here. No solo lanes are being picked up at all. They want to look towards phase 2 where they can ban away, get those counter picks, and what's kind of left open is Kai'Sa and Nautilus is going to go bot lane. Jarvan gets picked up here, and you feel the Diabolus are going to look to pick themselves up a support, get themselves something they can play comfortably into this Nautilus, into this Kai'Sa, and then just look to ban away some more comfortable picks from the likes of Zyko and Vixen.
Yeah, so up until this point, we had the exact same bot lanes picked for both teams, but Diabolus also picked Nautilus yesterday, so they do not have the option of that. They will instead go for Lux, which has been a huge power pick on this patch and does give a lot of safety to the bot lane up against the all-in of that Nautilus and that Kai'Sa. We now go into the second rotation of bans. We see a lot of Karma banned at this point, just to avoid that Karma top lane. Also some Camille coming out from both sides, just something they don't want to play up against the mid, but instead Vixen will lose access to that LeBlanc, which he played yesterday with a lot of success.
All right, well, that's also the Kennen denied there from Kakan. One more ban for Diabolus, and what are they looking to kind of pinch? Where do they want to deny? Do they want to look towards Zyko? Do they want to look to just banning Vixen? That Kali and that Zed are still open as well.
I think you focus Vixen here because Zyko's big two are the Aurelia and the Yasuo. They got taken out in rotation 1. They do look at Vixen. He is known for his Ahri. It was his one-trick pony pick back in the day, so understandable, take that off the cards. And they will get rid of the Rise, which potentially could have been a flex in either lane. Is the changed Rise, so not as good in the early levels,
yeah, you don't
but
have the
scales
rune
really well.
Yeah, you don't have that instant rune prison anymore. It looks like they're going to pick themselves up a Nico. This could go top or mid, so actually a nice flex pick here for Diabolus. They have options to work with depending on what Demise look to lock in.
Yeah, and the Rise was actually banned against Diabolus yesterday in the second rotation, but so was the Nico, so that has been left open. Diabolus have secured it, and they are very comfortable on that pick, and even drew bans yesterday, so clearly confident on that one.
All right, well, what is going to be the pick here? Then Voxnir hovering that Vladimir would fit in fairly well with the team fight they've already drafted, and they are going to lock that in. So now we're looking towards most likely the mid lane. But again, Vladimir's still technically a flex, so I don't want to say it's definitely going top until I see it get locked in.
Yeah, and the big thing for me is that so far we have 4 squishy champions on the side of Diabolus, and a lot of the skill shots, a lot of the CC coming out is skill shots, which are very easy for the Vladimir to dodge away from. So now with all those champions, Vladimir is a great pick into it, and then talked about the Camille potentially being banned away in the second rotation. It hasn't been. This is a flex. In Korea, it was being played in the mid lane, but obviously a traditional pick that can still go in the top lane. So although Demise have picked both their solo laners, Diabolus do not have it locked in exactly where they're going.
All right, well, Diabolus now looking to find out if they're going to be going mid with that Nico or top. They know what Demise have picked, but I mean, they don't know because like you said, both the Vladimir and the Camille are technically flexed towards that mid lane. So there's going to be a Poppy pickup here. Fairly safe and comfortable for Kakan in that top lane. So Nico definitely going mid.
That shows me that they expect to have the Camille in the top lane because traditionally the Poppy has been a good matchup into that and has gone toe-to-toe quite handily in the early game, especially since you can block the hook shot with your Steadfast Presence, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And so now Demise are waiting to decide where they put their solo lanes. Honestly, I feel like in this situation, you could just put the Camille mid and then the Vladimir top, and it would mean the Vladimir can just farm up very safely against the Poppy, and the Camille can do whatever she wants in the mid lane. It's so hard for the Nico to escape. If you get that Hextech ultimatum with the Jarvan following up, they will go down, but time has passed, and it looks like they will just put the Camille in the top lane. I feel like that comes down to comfort.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It could be a comfort thing here, you know. Vixen may be going, you know, I haven't got enough Camille under my belt to really be pulling this out here, especially versus a team like Diabolus. You know, a win here, again, is another big confidence boost. Yeah, they beat out Envision yesterday, but they're now looking to try and beat out an actual UKLC team, which is a feat they weren't able to achieve during the regular part of the Fortune Champions. It was only the promotional relegation stage where they actually got that kind of key win that put them through into the UKLC. So this is a key, this is like a really important win here for Demise. And I mean, making finals, especially on your first week of the UKLC,
it's a statement.
So big. And it is a statement. You know, we've been looking to them going, are they going to be kind of middle of the pack or are they going to be down the bottom? They say, no, no, no. We want to be high. We want to place high as possible. We spoke to them yesterday as well. And they were saying, realistically, they're looking at top 5 is where they want to place. So they've got clear goals, and beating a team like Diabolus would be a good step towards achieving that goal. But I don't want to take...
I mean, they've already hit top 5 for this week, but I know they want to do more with that.
The question for me is kind of like, you know, we look at Diabolus as well, though, because they've made top 2 consistently for the last 2 splits of the UK scene. It's really, you know, they don't want to lose that either. So a loss to one of the new teams to the scene would be a massive gut punch for them in week 1. So this is, I think there's a lot on the line for both of these teams. And I know we're only 1 week in, and, you know, it does affect the standings, but not really long term because there's still 7 weeks of play.
Yeah, after this week, there is absolutely any chance for any team to get to the top. But it is a lot of statement, it's a lot of confidence for the team, and I think that's the thing. If you start off the split strong, it gives the motivation for the team to keep working throughout the split. You want to keep fighting because let's say you make the finals in week 1, you think, wow, we're doing pretty good. Maybe we can actually get to playoffs, get to the later stages of it, and then go up against teams like Fnatic and give them a real fight. So I think, yeah, it will mean a lot to get this win here. I mean,
it's interesting you say like the kind of strong start though, because you also look at like the spring split, where Fnatic had that strong start, and everyone, all right, Fnatic is just going to sit at the top of the tower. Week 2, XL took him off. Took Fnatic like 2 extra weeks to get back on that tower.
Yeah.
And like it was a real battle of attrition towards that top 4. I mean, it was anybody's game between M&M, XL, Diabolus, and Fnatic. Diabolus, with just pure consistency, were able to get enough points to pull themselves into the European Masters just off points, and they made it all the way to the finals, but Fnatic did end up winning that. But even so, we look at like our top 4, and it was a constant roundabout of like who was the best team, who was on top. And I kind of hope we get that again coming into summer, because we don't just have like a dedicated, like...
It makes it interesting.
A dedicated best team. It does make it more interesting. So we do head on to Summoners Rift for our first game of day 2 here at the UK League Championship. And already, Demise looking just to have a little bit of a fish around the jungle, spotting out where Diabolus is starting up. Diabolus do take this opportunity to head into this red side of the jungle.
Yeah, we'll actually clear out that ward. That's a really smart move. Every single team we've seen so far in the UKLC has been placing that ward to get information about the enemy jungler. Then Vox and Viggo make a great call. They're there in time to clear it out, but it looks like either will just walk up and replace it. Now, that doesn't seem very major, but it does mean that they will have less warding available across the board for the early game, so it opens up Hidden to maybe have some extra ganking pressure. But at the end of the day, the ward still ends up being there. They will still get some information, and likely they'll be able to see Hidden after he clears this red, and if he heads over to his Raptors.
Yeah, we did see Demise did place both of those wards, so they have a little bit more vision to work around as well, so they'll have a good idea where PFI is starting up. We got 2 junglers who are very good in this kind of earlier stage of the game as well, so that's what's going to be really interesting to me here is where their attention's going to go. Who's gonna kind of pull that trigger? So I wonder if Hidden's going to go for the full like red side clear. For the moment, he's just beelining towards his blue buff.
Yeah, I feel like compositionally, looking at them, I feel like Diabolus has the better early game. Just on the back of a Nico, who's going to have shoving priority against the Vladimir. Vladimir takes quite a bit of time before he has shorter cooldowns where he can make impact. Top lane, the Camille's going to scale really well, but in the early levels, Kakan should come out ahead and be able to out-trade him. Maybe not then, but for the most part. And then it's the later game stages where Demise are really going to come online. So I expect to see PFI try and make as much happen early as possible. And Hidden's going to try and counteract that, so his team has the opportunity to scale up.
Well, Kakan did hit that level 2 first over Zyko. As the bot lane here for Diabolus do get themselves that level advantage, so they're going to have that extra shoving power with the Lux and the Civis. Shoving is just so easy for them. Zyko's still feeling pretty comfortable here into Kakan, taking a big trade with him.
You have to be really careful with your position, because if you do get stunned against the wall, you will be in trouble. But now, Hidden's heading up. And remember, level 3 just hit from Kakan. That could actually be really big, because it can deny the CC coming out.
Yeah, can they find that opening? That's going to be the flag and drag, the steadfast presence used. Zyko holds onto the hook shot. Kakan does make a runaway, and PFI now barreling towards the flash hammer shot goes in.
Oh,
they miss
the
Cocoon. They actually land onto Zyko. He's low HP, but he still has a flash. He gets a tactical sweep down. Zyko is going to be able to get his way out of there without burning a single summoner spell.
Yeah, it does mean Hidden's flash will be traded, and the big advantage here is that now Kakan and PFI can shove the wave in. And yes, Zyko would love to TP back this wave, and it looks like they are going to allow him. I was actually concerned they could dive him with how good Elise's early diving is.
Yeah, I messed up as well, because I said Zyko was holding hookshot. He was only level 2. He's only just hit hookshot, so maybe they would have gone more aggressive, and that could have been a very different situation with PFI coming up. if he did have that hook shot, but maybe actually not having level 3 saved his life.
Yeah, it could well have saved his life, but it did mean that at the disadvantage. Kakan just hit level 3, and that steadfast presence meant he could block the knockup coming out from Hidden. He was in a pretty comfortable position. He is now flashless, and that's a big concern for me because if you go in as a Jarvan with no flash, there is no way if you're getting out. So now PFI is going to be in control for this early levels. He has the flash advantage. He is on a leash to his one of the strongest 3-6 junglers. I am looking to him to start to take control and facilitate his team going into the mid game.
Vixen just takes a big old chunk there. Only level 4 on this Vladimir, so he'll have 2 points in the transfusion, but he won't have so much healing for the moment. This Fury, once again, looks for the binding onto him. Can't actually quite make it connect.
Big point for Vladimir is level 9. That's when you've maxed your transfusion, and the cooldown is as short as it's going to get, barring any CDR you pick up. It means you're much more capable of trading and healing up with the wave. So that will be the point where I expect to see Vixen make more aggressive plays and be able to move on the map because he has more shoving power. But for now, Fury is in complete control of that lane.
And Hidden once again trying to make something happen in one of these lanes. He's got himself the sweeper, knows he hasn't been spotted, and he's just setting up for this bounce onto the tower. Then Voxnate and Vigo now just going to take a little bit of a step back and have to see if he commits to kind of waiting around for this kill.
I didn't quite see his pathing into the lane. I think he walked all the way through the lane, but there was a ward in the tri-brush, so they may be aware of this, but we're not quite sure yet. No pings have come out, so I'm going to assume that they're not, and...
Oh, they're not. That's going to be the flag drag. 2-man knockup. Vigo flashes in. Dragdar's low. Forced to use the heal, and he's going to go down. The ignite is ticking as he holds out
shield.
He lives, and Dragdar does not die to the gank.
The Lux shield was absolutely huge there. I still think it's a favorable play coming out from Demise. The fact they got both flashes in the heal, but actually...
Zyko, he's in for trouble here. Kakan just putting the work into the back of his head. Steadfast presence means he can't flag drag away. Does get a bit of damage off there, and Zyko pops the potion. As his hook shot, the tactical sweep will heal him up, but a grasp and a buckler means he will not be able to stay around in lane, but PFI sniffing for the kill.
Yeah, this could be close. No flash, no TP, so if he dies here, it's really punishing.
Yeah, he has that hook shot available as PFI jumps in, trying to get that stun. PFI gets in, but that's not going to be enough. The tower shot not come down, and PFI finds first blood. He does get the cocoon onto Hidden, and Hidden can't chase the reward.
Yeah, and that's a great play. It looked a bit close to PFI towards the end. He went very aggressive, and the reason for that was because he knew Hidden has a chance to counter gank, but they get the kill off, and the big thing is no TP for Zyko, so he misses that entire wave. Hidden does manage to pick it up, but that is still a big loss for that Camille, who you want to be able to scale into the later stages where she can trade toe-to-toe with Kakan's Poppy.
All right, well, we hit the 6-minute mark. We can see there's a 1,000 gold lead over to Diabolus here.
Yeah, and a lot of that looking at the jungle and the top lane. About 500 piece, which, yeah, adds up to 1,000. The math checks out. That is where a lot of the early strength will come from. Really easy to find the setup with PFI. And Poppy, although she is a tank, she does have a lot of early base damages, especially against someone like a Camille.
Oh, a Boomerang Blade just chunked them Voxney as well.
Yeah, it's not fun. And we didn't even get much to unbreak that bot lane play, but the shield from Heathen and the Lux is really strong. And that's what saved him from the Ignite and all the other damage. Actually,
what is that damage by Kakan?
That's Poppy for you. That is the power of Poppy. She is a tank who scales pretty well, but in the early game, she has so much damage. You cannot pick something like Camille and expect just to scale it for free. She will punish you if you go in for those trades. And right now, he's got a pretty big CS lead. He has that assist as well, and he's sitting comfortable with that Bami Cinder to help in those trades.
And Hidden's been really proactive on this Jarvan, but he hasn't been able to make either of his 2 ganks work. Now, not been spotted out in this ward. He's looking to try and get his way in to this bot side of the wave as Denvox and Vigo pushing the wave up gives him the opening to get into this bush.
Yeah, I will give him credit. Although the gank bot lane didn't get a kill, it did get their summoners. So the big thing is, can he make this return gank work? He has his level 6 ultimate now. There is no way for either of those champions to get outside the Cataclysm. So if he can make an engage on them, they will be trapped. The problem is there is a ward in there.
Bush, he'll get spotted out. There's Vigo placing a pink ward.
It means they can walk up. But actually, I think they just saw him there. They did. They waited. He didn't wait long enough, sorry, for the ward vision to die away. So they know he's there. But to be honest, I feel like anyone who was put in that situation would expect the jungler to turn up. You don't burn 2 pink wards in a row unless there's a reason for it. It kind of is a big giveaway, and it looks like Hidden has to back off.
Yeah, they didn't see him leave the lane. He's decided to walk away anyway, so I feel like they're probably going to be feeling fairly confident right now. As Hidden now is going to go for the Ocean Drake for his team, trying to get his hands on this objective with the pushing in that bot lane.
Good one to have early. I think then Voxney might be seen by that pink ward. They'll have a decent idea this is happening, but if you look on the other side of the map, Zyko has to back away. He knows they are making a play around bot side. The Elise could be there. He has to respect this because they could very easily dive him. Elise so strong at making dives at any point in the game, but especially this early.
Khan has this flashback as well, so he can always make that kind of flash wallbang play happen once again as PFI is standing about. Look for Khan.
Oh, the stun
connects
hits.
it into the turret. That's going to be the steadfast presence. Uses the ulti for the moment. And Zyko tries to get a heal off. Hook shots away. Khan's taking the tower shot. He gets
shield?
one. He's looking for two. Khan will fall as PFI is going to be able to secure the kill in a 1-for-1 trade topside.
Yeah, gotta give credit to Zyko. That is exactly the situation you want to get because that did not look good to start off, but the minions blocked the cocoon coming in from PFI, and then Khan, he picked up the shield, and that did save him for another auto from the tower, but it wasn't enough to get him out.
I mean, Zyko did that without flash as well, which was really impressive. Used the ulti to kind of dodge some of the incoming damage.
He dodged the ult coming out from Khan, and obviously any ultimate ability has really high base damage, so he dodged a lot of that away.
Well, Khan is just going for the trade with him. Zyko gets himself a big old shield off and uses that hook shot to get out nice and safe. He's now picked himself up a Tiamat, so he'll be able to deal with some of the shoving, but these poppy base damages are really rough.
Yeah. And that's another strength as well, is that obviously you saw the physical damage shield come out from Zyko there, because obviously a lot of damage coming out from Poppy is physical, but she still has some magical damage because of the grasp that she has as a keystone and also the Bami Cinder that she's built. So she has quite a lot of mixed damage right now, which makes that shield less effective than it would be otherwise. Well, it looks like we're actually seeing a little bit of a lane swap come out here from Demise, sending their bot lane towards that top side. They've realized that this is just a failing lane for them, and they need to try and get there as soon as possible to try and deal with this. And Khan's just going to have to take a little bit of a step away. 10 minutes down, and they've only got one plate left in this top side to take. PFI is also waiting about in the wings, maybe looking to get a bit of a bait from Khan. He lands the cocoon here, it would be absolutely lethal. Either these targets. Nico's coming up as well. This could be really bad.
Oh, Den Voxney's going to get caught into the wall. That's going to be one onto Vigo. They try to get the CC, but Den Voxney is just annihilated. Vigo forced to flash away.
Really
yet
smart
another
move.
kill for Diabolus.
Really smart move to bring Fury up as well. Just absolutely guaranteed it. And honestly, it was a bit overconfident from Demboxnate and Vigo to walk up that way. You see Vigo just placed a ward of the wall in the bush. Why didn't they do that in the first place?
Yeah.
That is the big question. But it does mean a successful gank for Diabolus. And they're now really starting to accelerate that gold lead, almost 3,000 ahead. And a big factor in that will be those tower platings have taken.
Oh, Zyko actually just goes in for a trade onto Dragdar. Does a lot of damage to him, but will take a lot on the way back out as the roots does connect. That's going to be the final spark to cut him low. And this is just not Zyko's game. He is getting bullied by every member of Diabolus.
That's the issue, is you go in for a trade like that, and if you can't find the all-in, they will just poke you down. And now because he's low, he's going to have to recall, and that means Dragdon Heathen might well just take this tower, or at least a fair few plates from it. In fact, he's actually going to stay on such low HP.
They're looking to try and get this rift out to Vixen. Very quiet game so far, as he is also making himself known. That's going to be the ulti by Poppy. Just sends one packing, and now Vixen, level 9. That's that key point you were talking about on Vladimir. Gets the max healing from the transfusion. Like I said, he's been a pretty quiet one.
Yeah, there's not too much you can do on Vladimir early. Has fallen a little bit behind on CS from Fury, but he is a monster in terms of scaling, and that's exactly what Demise are playing for. But they have started to forfeit a lot of gold advantage over to Diabolus in this early game.
Doesn't find him with a light binding, but Zyko needs to be very, very careful. There's a race for first turret here. And at the moment, Diabolus are the ones in the charge, but then Voxney wants to try and take out this wave, push this Rift Herald in, try and get some plates, pull back some of this gold deficit this team are currently facing.
You definitely get some plates here. There's no way to stop the Herald, but there's no way where they can take this tower here. It's too hard to dive, and Dragdon Heathen should be able to just pick this one up. Zyko has to be careful, or he'll go down with it.
Yeah, the binding will find its mark as he gets that hook shot out. Even looks to chase, but he's not going to be able to do too much there. That's going to be first turret blood. Final spot to push the wave in, and Diabolus are just continuing to assert pressure.
Yeah, good move from Demise. However, they make a play on the other side of the map where Diabolus don't have their bot lane. They are down in numbers, and they get some gold in return. The lead is 4,000, which is pretty significant for Diabolus, and they are definitely taking the game the way they wanted to be. But you look at the side of Demise, they have this Camille who's going to be a monster late in the side lanes. They have this Vladimir who is a team fight master in the later stages. The game is definitely not over yet.
Not at all. Right, let's have a little look at the gold at the moment, as it's just about 4,000 separating both of these teams. Diabolus holding a lot over them as the items are starting to get hit. Dragdar with the Essence Reaver. It's the GLP slow by Fury build, so he's going with the Glacial Augment as well. Lots and lots of CC, easy to land for him now because of the slows he's got.
Lots of first items coming out. Big thing is that Denvoxney does not have his evolved Acathian Rain as of yet because you only have Mario. And actually, Orlin's coming in and PFI is winning this.
Yeah, he's looking for the fight here versus Zyko. Uses the Cocoon, gets that hook shot away to safety as PFI chasing. Flashes forward to try and get the kill. Zyko makes his way out. The Cataclysm pins PFI in place and he's looking to go down. Jumps over the wall, but Denvoxney is chasing up for the kill. This will just be a kill gifted to the AD carries. The red buff is burning and a shutdown to Denvoxney.
Yeah, good play coming out from the side of Demise, and I feel like PFI just overstepped his mark, overestimated his damage, and it's very hard to pin down that Camille with that hookshot and that shield that came in. They will be able to get a second Ocean out of that for Demise, but they lost that tower on the top lane. Actually, Karan, a lot of damage coming out.
A lot of damage onto Denvoxney. Can't even cut through the shield at the moment. Like
that is the power of Poppy base damages, and especially if you pick up an Iceborne Gauntlet on top of your current build, you actually pump out a lot of damage.
It is soloing this Ocean. Does have Smite, so he'll be fine, guys. Don't worry. Well, it's getting very hairy. Double Ocean picked up by Demise does mean that they have a lot of regen to work with. And the next Drake, the key one, the Infernal Drake spawning up. So I feel like Diabolus is definitely going to want to be in a comfortable position to fight for that.
Yeah, Diabolus are ahead, so it will be easier for them to contest it. And that is a massive objective for them because it might make it a bit easier to keep up with Demise's scaling and give them more time before they do get outscaled. It's not that the scaling of Diabolus is awful. They have Poppy, who's going to be really strong in the late game. They have Sivir, who's also strong in those stages. The issue is the team fight from Demise is excellent, and also the split push from Zyko will be problematic once he gets some core items built up.
Oh, hit him. Just taking away his Raptors for the moment. I'm going to pick this up, and you can see Diabolus grouping up in this mid lane. Want to try and get some damage onto this turret, crack open their last outer turret. And it's dangerous for Vixen to clear these waves. He needs to get in the thick of it. The Cocoon does go a little bit wide, and Vigor feeling quite confident. Wants to step forward, takes a lot of damage, uses his ultimate. The Death Charge connects onto one. Now Kakan tanks a little bit of damage, but even with a full pop of the Kai'Sa passive, it doesn't even cut through the shield.
Yeah, very tanky Poppy at this point of the game, and I think they're just going to lose this tower here.
Yeah, they're going to have to give it up.
Is that you have a scaling composition, but there is no safe wave clear on the side of Demise. And that's where Diabolus can continue to punish. They now have the 3 out of towers. It's a great position to be in this mid game, but they need to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, because if they do give that opening over to Demise, we know the likes of Vladimir will just be oh so oppressive in these team fights. And also, Camille has a rough time the whole game into Poppy because Poppy can just deny a lot what she wants to do. But if Camille does kind of get left alone, get some farm on her, she should be able to split push effectively.
Yeah, in the later stages, when you hit sort of that level 14, 15, 16, when you have a full Ravenous Hydra or Titanic, I mean, I think in this match, you want to go the Ravenous for the extra lifesteal. You have the Triforce. That's when you can really start to just duel that Poppy, and you heal so much, you out-heal the base damages that were effective earlier, and also the true damage just cuts through any armor that Kakan has built.
Oh, the moment, Dragdar is on wave clear duty in the mid lane. Wants to start to stack up some items as well because Diabolus, they have scaling in their own right with that Sivir. We all know that Sivir, you know, fighting up 5-item Sivir just does so much damage.
Yeah,
those bouncing boomerangs in those big clustered up team fights, which is kind of what Demise want to look for. They want to find everyone grouped up, want to look for a big, just kind of 5-on-5 brawl.
Absolutely, but they still have the option of sending that Camille for a split push. Backline access is the big thing, but that is what is going to be the crucial thing. If you can get on top of that Sivir, if you can get on top of that Lux, if the flanks are there, then it's going to be very easy to pull off a team fight. But there is a lot of peel to protect. The Lux offers a lot of shielding and the roots itself, and then also Kakan. He will be a pivotal part of any team fight, and that's why playing the 4-1 can be very effective, because if you bring him out, it makes all the engage easier for the side of Demise.
It looks like, for the moment, Diabolus are just playing the vision control around this red side jungle. They want to obviously contest this Inferno when it comes up, so it's a good way to start, just getting control of their enemy jungle.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's always a rough decision to give over Infernal, but this might be one of those situations where you try and trade across the map, potentially take that top tower or some damage on the mid one, because I think if you fight 5v5 right now against Diabolus, you're liable to have a rough time. The goal lead is pretty significant. I don't feel like anyone on the side of Demise can really cut through that Poppy right now. Yeah. So tanky and received so much extra gold from that plating. not going to be a fun one to go into.
And to be fair, they also picked up those 2 early Drakes as well, which is kind of key for them. So at least they've got some Drakes. It's not an Inferno, it's double Ocean, but it does give them that nice regens for this kind of slowed down pace of the game. As the teleport's being used here, so Dragdar wants to just join up in the mid lane with the rest of his team.
Yeah, picked up a BF and I believe that stopwatch as well. So in a very comfortable position to teamfight right now if Demise challenge them. I don't think they should. The big thing is, as you said, those 2 dragons. It means if it gets to the later stages and an Elder Dragon's on the cards, they are still going to be able to have at least a reasonably strong buff.
It's also very strong with the Baron darts if they do find themselves in a position where they can go for it, because they do have that bonus regen that doesn't actually wear off from fighting the Baron. So it's nice for them. It does give them a little bit to work with.
Yep. Looks like Diabolus going to make a rotation down bot, and there isn't very much Demise can do here. That tower's just going to go down. There is a ping coming out on the ward behind. They might potentially look for a TP play. It is coming in.
They are going for it. The flank is on Den's Voxnay. Dodges out on the light binding. Vixen will be spotted out on this ward, but he has the blood pool to work with. A teleport's coming in. He uses his flash in to the fight. That's going to be a 5-man hemo play. They flash up with the damage onto 1. The final spark connects onto everybody, and Dragdar will go down. 2 quick kills have been picked up. 3 Diabolus are cutting through everybody on Demise. Vixen is going to fall. He cannot take anybody with him. Jesus doesn't fear the Reaper, and neither does the Devil.
Yeah, and that's a 5 for row from Diabolus. They completely took that team fight by a storm, and it just looked like a great concept. Vixen TPing in from behind, but they have not hit their scaling points. It was a massive mistake, and in the end, Diabolus, not only will they get all 5 members of Demise, they're going to get that Baron as well, and this really puts the game in a difficult position for the side of Demise.
We were talking about the struggles of the wave clear for Demise, and this Baron just makes it even harder. With a massive ultimate by Vixen, can't find a single person.
Demise have sent Zyko in to solo that Infernal Dragon out. The only saving grace in this scenario. And we will get a replay of this team fight. So I think one of the big talking points here is Kakan on this Poppy, because of the way he stops the engage coming in from Demise. We see Vixen coming in, and then you see the Poppy will actually knock away Hidden, and that stops them from all being locked in place. So they can kite further and further away, and then the great root coming out and the stun follow-up, the flash from Fury means that the Voxnay is locked up. He never gets to do anything, and once he is down, the follow-up just becomes easy. The Vladimir is not at the point where he can solo carry a team fight yet. Easy pickings and great mechanical team play from everyone on Diabolus to make that one work.
Yeah, Den's Voxnay's now only just finished up his Rage Blade, but he's into Dragdar with an Essence Reaver and an Infinity Edge. He is doing a lot of damage right now.
Yeah, absolutely. If you get hit by one of those ricochets and it crits, it hurts. It will absolutely chunk you out. And it looks like now Demise is just sort of playing a defensive game, playing damage control for the duration of his Baron. Got to care for Fury's poke, and also if he lands a root, you will die.
Yeah, then Voxnay has to play very far back, and even if he goes step forward, those Boomerang Blades, the ricochets, it's just going to do so much work to them. This cannon, really hard for them to get close enough to deal with.
They will get an opportunity to take it down. It looks like they will back off for now. Diabolus not wanting to go too aggressive. Root actually connects.
Yeah, Zyko does have the hook shot though, so he's going to be able to at least dodge away from most of the Q damage. Kakan just solo in the bot lane. He's got that Sheen proc from his Iceborne Gauntlet. He's going to be able to cut through these towers. Zyko is going to have to be sent down to deal with him, but it's just the Triforce on the Camille, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know if he has the damage to even scare Kakan off.
It's not the point where you can really trade with that Poppy effectively. She's still very tanky and got a lot of damage, and actually going a bit aggressive here, but will just be able to tank the tower and walk off, and it's going to go down pretty soon.
Zyko even jumped back into the second part of the hammer shot to take bonus damage for walking it. This will be the inhibitor going down in the bot lane here for Diabolus, and looking very, very comfortable. 1 minute 20 left on this Baron. They've got so much time to work with. Demise just kind of stuck and lost here with no idea how to kind of pull this control back in their favor.
Yeah, and it looks like they are going for a reset to spend. A lot of big items coming in across the board. You have the double slow effects coming in from Fury, but also that stopwatch. You have a Zeal now for Dragdar, so working at 65% crit chance, so going to crit you more than you won't. And definitely doing a ton of damage with all that AD behind it. There is some saving graces for Demise. They have a lot of scaling in the composition. It's not like it's being behind and being outscaled, and they do have 3 dragons behind them. But they are looking at an 8k gold deficit. It is never going to be a good situation to be in.
Not if you're Vixen as well. You're uses the blood pool to stop himself from getting banned into the wall, but the light binding final spark, everything is thrown down. Vixen gets a big hit onto PFI, but he is low and he is going to be cooked alive as that's going to be a kill for Kakan. 3, 1, and 6 on the Poppy.
Yeah, just ask the question, why were you there? That is not the position you want to be in. You're not going to team fight. You overcommit to shove the wave out, and now Diabolus are looking to crack more of your base.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. They might just find themselves a pick. The end of the Heathen, but Kakan chasing up the rest of his team, and they are just going to continue their siege. It's a 4v4.
20 seconds on Vixen. If they can keep the inhibitor alive for that long, they can look for a team fight on the back end.
It's going to be rough. A big slow connect. That's going to be one. The Pop Blossom's there. PFI instantly finds the kill. The Heathen is next to go as Dragdar picks him up. Voxney tries to do his best to keep everyone alive. A lot of damage on Kakan as he burns down to the Ignite. Voxney still has his
Vixen's
ultimate.
coming.
Not up for the moment, though, as Fury sends out the clone, and Vixen barreling up the lane. Wants to try and save the day. The inhibitor will not fall here, and somehow Demise mount a defense versus Diabolus and come out favorably.
Oh, it was so close. And the thing is, if Vixen had been alive there, it could have been completely different, but he did spawn just a bit too late to join in the fight. They managed to pick off Heathen. Good execution to find that, and then Voxney able to pump out so much damage at this point in the game with that fully stacked Mirror Mana and that Ginsu's. Definitely showing they still have some life behind them, but the goal deficit is going to make this very hard.
Going to make it very, very hard. Vixen still wants to get that death cap finished up as well. Got the 2 needlessly large rods. So got the Fiendish Codex, so working towards a lot of cooldown reduction. I believe, is that 40 at this point now? I think you run Transcendence and that gives you 40.
You have 10. You only have 10 from the... It depends what you want in his runes. If you went the 10% in his runes to give CDR and then the Transcendence, then Protobelt and the Codex, that's 40.
Yeah.
But
I'm assuming that's what he's done. That's what most people do.
Yeah, it makes his early game a bit weaker because you lack that adaptive force you get in the first rune slot, but it would give him 40% CDR now, which puts you in a great position. Of course, you won't be able to know that factor yourself, but either way, Vladimir definitely starting to come online. But if he gets picked out like he did in the last fight, not going to be in a good situation. Dragon is spawning up, yeah. Soon. I would like to see what element that is, if our kind observers could show us.
Oh, Ocean. As a big deny, actually, stops Demise from getting that triple Ocean.
This is great for Demise, I'm going to be honest. It's one of the dragons that it's not as effective later on, especially if you haven't stacked them. That one is a lot more significant. So the fact that Diabolus only took an Ocean there, you're fine with that. You may want to fight that next Infernal though, but even if you can't, just give over an even trade for the one you have. And yeah,
that was sad to watch.
Here's the worst thing is look at the items coming out from Kakan. He has half an MR item and he took that little damage. And that's with the Rabadons being completed. You need Voxney to take out Kakan. That's the only way.
Vixen stole the grub.
I mean, why not?
That's denial, dude.
That is denial. A little bit
of gold can go a long way. Stuff, really, before he's going to be able to do too much here. Remember, he's not running the Sorcerer's Boots either, so he has no pen at the moment.
Yeah, I mean...
Diabolus setting up a bit of a death brush here. Wards are being placed down from Demise, but they are tentative. They are scared to step too far forward.
Baron is the big objective. That's what we're playing around. And now, Zyko is pushing that wave in the bot lane. You may be able to get that tower, and I feel like that's why Diabolus are going to feel pressure to go for this. They are starting it off. The Poppy can tank it for an almost infinite amount of time.
I mean, it doesn't even need an infinite amount of time. This Baron is melting. The Void Seeker will spot out the dragon happening, as Vixen's already been forced to use the Blood Pool. Spoopy Ghosts have been sent out. 5k HP, sorry, 4k HP, 3.5k HP, but Vixen's going for the fight. The Pop Blossom, the Cataclysm, Voxney slides into the back of Diabolus, and he's already found himself 2 for the team. A double kill.
Demise are winning.
Up. It's been a triple kill for Voxney, but Kakan is still alive, and he is just ripping through members left, right, and center. Zyko and Hidden look to try and take him down, but Kakan is so unbelievably tanky. The tactical sweep slows him down as he slowly gets cut through, but the buckler shield is big. He flashes away, and Demise find the ace.
Finally, the scaling starts to kick in. It was a great flank from Vixen. Unfortunately, his pool was still on cooldown, so he died pretty quickly, but the damage was there. And then Voxney was monstrous coming in to find the damage there. Looks like they're actually going to back off away from the Baron. Cautious about the TPs, and understandably, look at how many are available for the side of Diabolus. They don't want to overcommit for that Baron. It could cost them the game, so they will reset. They won the last team fight. A lot of gold on a Voxney, and we will get to break that down once again.
If Voxney had used his heal, I don't know if it was on cooldown in the fight, they might have been able to get that Baron, but he does still have heal currently. And you see there, Vixen uses his Blood Pool to dodge Heathen's combo.
Yeah, and that is a big starting point because that would have swung the fight much more in their favor. The fight starts off, and Vixen gets a great ult onto 4 members, all the squishy ones. Hidden then engages, and then Devoxny jumps in the backline, they catch in rain, hits so many, and then it's easy pickings. He has the empowered damage from the Vladimir ult, the Hemoplague, and it means he can just churn everyone down. Here, good move to try and heal up, but the base damage from the Poppy is just too much, and then this is a slow burn down on this tanky Poppy that we don't need to see again.
Diabolus' MVP actually was the Baron there. Basically solo killed Devoxny to the point where Kakan could finish him up. If Devoxny wasn't in the Baron range, that he would have been able to, he didn't take any damage apart from Baron.
And that's the thing, he was in such a rush to get out his ult off. Maybe a slightly better position coming out from that could have turned things more in the favor, but either way, Demise did come out ahead in their team fight. They've closed the gold gap, but it's still very much there. They are looking to outscale Diabolus in this game.
And you do see these items hitting here for Devoxny, building towards what I believe will be a Zhonya's at some point.
I think he's looking for Banshees next, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Makes sense. I actually like that, because you block the binding or a cocoon, effectively.
Yeah, a lot harder. And if you ult in like that, the first CC cannot do anything to you. A lot more safety. And that's the really strong thing he has picked up now about this Kai'Sa build, is because you can go AP, you open up all these great AP options like the Zhonya's, like the Banshees that are very flexible.
Well, it's still a big gold lead for Diabolus. They've still got 5k ahead here. They just need to not be caught like they were versus Demise at that Baron pit. And you now see they're being a lot more tentative about trying to start this objective up. They do have pretty much solid vision control there as the blue ward is placed down by Devoxny to see if Baron is happening. Yeah, Diabolus were just looking for their bases.
Here we just recalled. And this is actually really important because Vigo is also recalling. This is the small opportunity you have to push in and get some vision control when Diabolus are down a member because he's backing. They missed that chance, so that vision's going to remain established for Diabolus. And they are now starting to move it over to that dragon. It is spawning pretty soon. It's going to be another Infernal. That'll definitely help out to equalize the scaling if Diabolus can pick it up. But if Demise were to secure it, that really cements them coming out ahead in the later stages. 1 minute to go for that Infernal.
I do feel that Diabolus are aware, though, if they do decide to go for the dragon, Demise just try and smash through the Baron. And with a Kai'Sa, that Baron will melt, especially AP Kai'Sa. A passive does so much health percent damage that you will just cut through that objective.
And now that they've devoted so much attention to that Infernal Dragon, it has freed up Demise to clear the vision up here.
They're going to
start it. They know that PFI is on the Dragon, or at least they expect it. The Voxner isn't quite here yet.
Vixen has himself teleport, so he can join in with the fight. This is now going to be Devoxny on to the Baron. It's going to cut through fairly quick. Fury sends out a clone. It's only a fake for the moment. And they actually do force them off, but Infernal was cancelled, as it looks like one. Zyko gets brought out to Kakan, but they're looking for the chase up here. The Cataclysm is available. The final spark goes a little bit wide, only lands onto one. That's going to be the Cataclysm to pin them in place, as Devoxny untouched in the fight, but unable to enter the fray. Diabolus find 2. And don't lose a single member.
Yeah, great flank coming out from Kakan. Blocked Zyko. And the thing is, Devoxny was not in position to team fight. And Vixen wasn't even there. So it was a really strong flank. And it did enough to get them the team fight win. You see they are securing the Baron, but already they're sending Kakan down to that Infernal. They want to take the Baron without losing that Dragon.
Oh, Vixen actually finds that Kakan. He does a lot of damage to him now. Finally, there's tides of blood ripping through him. The Void Seeker finds its mark, and then Voxny gets himself forward as Vixen finds the shutdown. Fury sends out the Spooky Ghost looking for Vixen. Then Voxny turns his attention towards this Drake as Zyko has to hook shot over the wall to get away. Diabolus unable to find that kill, but they will at least be gifted this Infernal Drake.
You say that there is still a possibility for steal. Doesn't come in. Good secure, but it actually came out from Fury, so not even a smite from PFI, but they managed to secure that Infernal, equalize the scaling a little bit, and they did get that Baron buff. 7k gold lead, gotta feel good, but they were in a similar position before, and they did give some life back to Demise, so the game is not over yet.
Absolutely not. Right. Zyko just getting his chickens. He's now level 16. He's got that Ravenous Hydra. He's got that Triforce. I forgot the name of the item there for a minute. So he is now in that kind of comfortable phase on the Camille. Does have a fair amount of damage, but it's 4 complete items on Kakan. It's really scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And my concern as well is, yes, he's tanky. Yes, he's going to be hard to kill, but we saw how quickly Vixen cut through him. There's no point-and-click CC coming out from Diabolus. The only one really is Poppy, but you have to get them into a wall, which is easier said than done. And I think that's what makes me concerned about them going later on, because if you can't pin down champions like that Camille, like that Vladimir, like that Kai'Sa, it's going to be difficult. And you can see how much more wary Diabolus are now with this second Baron than they were with the first, because they're respecting what could happen if they get engaged on, and I think Vixen and Hidden are looking for it.
They are looking for it. Vixen has his flash available. Hidden, not him, but he does have the flag and drag. Hidden on that flank gets called out instantly with the binding and the cocoon. Vixen slowed down, has to heal off one, and now they're chasing for the slows. Potentially the kill. The blood pool gets used, and Vixen has to cool off the fray.
That's fine. You got the several pretty much for free. Actually, Warband comes out.
That's a lot of damage. Vixen has to use his ulti to try and sustain for the moment. The pop should keep him alive as he goes back to half HP, but there could be a wallbang available for him. Hidden has to jump in to try and keep his midliner alive. Cocoon lands onto a minion, and now it just looks like Diabolus has been gifted. That mid lane inhib they are continuing to go for the next one. Then Voxney takes a bit of damage, but he's able to jump away. The depth charge gets used, and the Cataclysm's there. Pop Blossom by Fury is flashed away. Doesn't quite find himself the mark. It's a massive fight in favor of Diabolus, but then Voxney's still alive. His health bar is low. The crit is enough to secure the kill, and Vigo is followed up. A triple kill picked up for Dragdar. Diabolus with 2 inhibitors and an open base are looking to close this game out and punch a ticket into the finals.
And once again, Dragdar shows if you give him enough time, he will take over the game on this Sivir. 7-1-9. He manages to take out Demise. Great performance from Diabolus.
Incredible performance from Diabolus. They end on 6-6-6 as well. What a gold number to end for the Devils.
Absolutely planned. Gotta be from minute one.
All scripted.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strong performance in the early to mid game. You could tell they knew they had the timer against them. But even when some momentum started to be pulled back by Demise, it just wasn't enough. They knew what their win condition was, and despite the fact that I would say overall they were outscaled, that Sivir was so strong in the later stages.
I think you have to look at some of the team fighting from Demise, though. There were moments, there were glimmers of hope, but there's definitely things that need to be shored up coming into this game, coming into future games from Demise. There were questions in the... I honestly don't like the Camille pick, as just like... It just didn't kind of suit what they were looking to do, because they built like a late game scaling team fight comp and then added a Camille for split push on the side.
I think if you put the Camille in mid lane and you put the Vladimir in top lane, I would have liked it so much more. I feel like you could have done more with that mid jungle, because Jarvan Camille is really scary, and then Vlad can just scale up against the Poppy. And I think I understood the win conditions, but they just gave up too much in the early game to make it happen.
I mean, the next match is going to be a really exciting one, because it's XL versus M&M. These are two kind of really powerful pick champions. I personally put M&M on top of the tower for today. Yeah, so, I mean, it was a bit of a bold call, but I'm loving the look of their comp. I'm loving what I saw from them yesterday. And XL, I mean, they also looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, they looked so strong that it felt like at some points they sort of disrespected their opponents a bit, I gotta say. I feel like against M&M, that is not an opponent you disrespect, and I hope they come out in full force, because with the roster they have behind them, they are so ready to take a challenge up to Fnatic on this tower.
I think this next game is going to be so exciting. There's so much on the line here. It kind of decides a lot between this top 4. I was saying this about this game because obviously Demise are aiming for top 5 and Diabolus want to remain at the top. But for XL versus M&M, this is a real deciding game between some of these teams, because they might not meet up for a little while as well for the rest of the split. But we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back with Game 2 of the UK League Championship. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second.